We are now going to go to our next showcasing company, PsiloZen. We're going to hear from Walker Koury and Luis Sanchez.
Check. Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My name is Luis, and I had a very personal experience with psychedelics a couple of years ago. I had a stress-induced health scare that almost took my life. And sorry, I couldn't have made it without the help of psychedelics. So without further ado, let's get into PsiloZen. So we are improving mental well-being and unlocking human potential through psychedelics. So we say we're the Equinox of Mental Fitness. So our mission is to improve access to mental health resources and elevate mental fitness through LA's first legal boutique psychedelic center.
So good afternoon. My name is Walker Koury. So about me and psychedelics, I spent 20 years in the United States Marine Corps. I was an infantry officer. Of that time, I spent 5 years combined in combat in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Colombia, retired as Lieutenant Colonel. When I retired as Lieutenant Colonel, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and PTSD on a daily basis. I took no less than 5 to 10 prescription antidepressants and antipsychotics. At the same time I retired, with my good friend and mentor also retired. Right after he retired, he went home and hung himself. For me, that was a wake-up call. Through the veteran community, I was introduced to PsiloZen and DMT. I don't ask here in the room who's done it, but and as soon as I did DMT and consumed it the first time, I came out of it, and my exact words were, "Oh my God, I've got to teach people about this." Since then, I've kind of made it my life's purpose to bring psychedelics to those that can help them. Next slide, please. Okay, the problem right now in the United States, about 1/3 of adults between 18 and 44 are diagnosed with depression. That corresponds with a 1/3 increase in prescription antipsychotics and antidepressives. Right now, there's only one state in the United States, that's Oregon, where you can legally get psychedelic therapy. The majority of veterans that I know and I work with are going to South America right now, and they're paying out of pocket between $10,000 and $20,000 a piece to go get psychedelic therapy. Our company's mission is we are going to be the first legal boutique psychedelic assisted treatment center in California. We're going to be in Los Angeles. What makes us different? We heard a lot today. We're not just psychedelics. It's a quote, I think Aldous Huxley said it, was that psychedelics will open the door in your mind, but you've got to walk through it. And we've seen that with specifically yoga, meditation, breath work, and mindfulness. So it's not just psychedelics. We want to bring everything that is non-prescription to mental health. And the other thing too, focus on safety and compliance. Again, I was a Marine, so I know compliance and laws and stuff. Next slide, please. Okay, we're PsiloZen, and we're going to have a better way through mental health. Next slide, please. I am not going to repeat this because you've probably heard this all day long today, but the data is out there that these things work. The only thing I do want to draw your attention to is something we call sub-psychedelic microdose of psilocybin. You hear on the street called microdosing. What it is that it is a below the threshold that does not create disassociation or hallucinations. We see that this improves mood, reduces stress, and helps focus. Next slide, please. Okay, Senate Bill 1012, which I'm surprised we haven't talked about yet today. Legal framework that this operates in is a thing called Senate Bill 1012. This was introduced as a follow-on for Senate Bill 58, which was due last year. It's a bipartisan bill. This literally has the most extremes of politics on it. You have Scott Weiner, who is the state assembly representative from downtown San Francisco, so that's about as liberal as you get. And you have San Diego's own Mary Walden, who represents the eastern side of San Diego, which is about as conservative as you get. And they both put this bill forward. What it does, it authorizes legal treatment centers in California. The big thing on this is that it must be a board-certified facilitator who is there with you administering the dosage. Unlike cannabis, so everyone thinks, oh, this is like cannabis. It's not like cannabis. Here's the reason why. By the law, you must purchase and consume all psychedelics on site in this treatment facility under the guidance of a facilitator. Those 4 are the ones we have. Right here, you can see Oregon's the model we're going on right now. The facilitators, they can go as many as 25 people at a time on a lower dose. It's the sub-psychedelic. Going to the top, the far end, when you get to a higher dose, you're looking at a one-on-one, 1-on-2 for 6 hours. I'm going to hand it back over to Luis to talk about our business model.
So the PsiloZen model mirrors the Oregon model. So essentially, monthly membership will include unlimited access to our routine services, which will be the spa, it'll be the yoga, the meditation, the breath work. In addition, we'll have on-site mental health support the entire time. In addition to that, you will get your psychedelic treatments. And they're broken up into a couple categories. So we'll have sort of large format, microdose, the one facilitator up to 5 patients. And that's perfect for the yoga, the creative thinking workshops that we mentioned. And we have the medium group format, so that's medium dose, and that's more for bespoke packaging, small to medium groups. And this will be, full availability, a whole suite of all our services. And then we have the one-on-one assisted psychedelic therapy. These are the heavy dose. These are one facilitator, one guest, and that's for more focused mental health conditions. So our target market size, our estimates are showing us that serviceable, we have about 10 million in the US, and in LA alone, we have about a million potential customers. We plan on servicing 1,500 to 2,000 patients per year, and we expect that population size to double within the first year or two. We're also seeing a huge demand for out-of-state, like to the Oregon model. People are flying in from out of state for these services. We did some research, and it was roughly about 90% of the business actually coming from out of state. So we're expecting something similar here in California. So these are key performance metrics. This is, again, focused on the facilitators. And gross estimates we're showing, between the one-on-one option, and then we have the larger group format per facilitator looking to be able to generate between 600,000 and $1.5 million. That puts our year one gross estimates for the operation at 13.5 million. We do think that is conservative. And we also have, additional revenue from our memberships, from our spa services, and then from the B2B opportunities. Our startup costs are $2.25 million.
Let's look at timeline right now. So in 2024, right now, SB 1012, it came out of committee actually last week. It has been ratified by the committee. You're looking at signing this bill no later than 31 September. This year alone, we're focusing on fundraising. 2025, on 1 April, is when the board of psychedelic facilitators must be created if the law is signed. This is a time when we're going to focus on recruiting, training the talent. The talent is the facilitators, okay? Because they're the people who are going to be with you in the room. Finally, 2026, you're looking at 1 April is the first licenses, applications are accepted. According to the bill, the first licenses will be issued on 1 October. We want to see our first patient on 2 October.
And lastly, this is the founding team. So we're 5 executive MBAs from UCLA. And then we have Travis and Justin in the back. And then Mahmoud couldn't be with us today, but he's our healthcare and our pharmacist specialist. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We will open it up to the judges.
Hey, it's Brendan from online. So
Hey,
the clinic space has seen, it's been pretty hard on them, right? You've had Field Trip go under, Numinous divested, Urban Naturals divested, a bunch of clinics. It's been a real bloodbath out there. Been involved in trying to help them. What's wrong with their business models that you're going to do differently?
I'm sorry, we could you restate that? We couldn't hear you in the room.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we think so.
Okay. Yeah, so I've worked with a number of these clinic companies trying to help them out. It's been a real bloodbath out there. Field Trip went under, Numinous had to divest a bunch, Urban Naturals Emergence had to divest a bunch. The list goes on. What about their business models are you going to do differently?
Yeah, okay, great question. So, I mean, one is we're following a legal framework that is, it's kind of built into this SB 1012, and then also that Oregon has been following for some time. So there's an economy there that we're trying to mirror. The second is that, we are addressing a wide range of mental health needs. So it's not just the, more severe conditions. There's also, I think these are very applicable in everyday services, everyday applications for reducing stress, anxiety, I mean, you name it, and everything in between. And the law does permit for that.
All right, gentlemen. So this seems kind of cool. I'm a little confused, which is probably I, not you, but need to ask a bunch of quick questions. So this is, you said the Equinox of Right? Is that what you said?
Mental fitness.
Okay, a mental fitness, which I like that. That's kind of fresh. So this is a footprint. You real estate. You know, you're renting, you're
Correct.
leasing.
It's brick and
Correct.
mortar.
Okay, it's bricks and mortar. So you're in the bricks and mortar space. Okay, which is kind of tricky, but we
Yes.
know that, right? And this is multimodality. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay,
Correct.
so it's multimodality, which is kind of cool. So there'll be those that do and those that don't participate in the psychedelic component, if you will.
Correct.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and you said about 13.5 annually gross,
Correct.
correct? Okay, and what's and then the total unique or membership? This is membership, correct?
Correct.
Membership. So did I hear 1,500 people per year or per month? I didn't get it.
Yeah, so 1,500 per month, but correction, per year.
So how many members per year?
1,500 per
Okay,
year
so that's about
is
8,000 per person, roughly 8K per person, if I'm doing the math right.
So
It-
yeah, it
Yeah, help
depends
me
on-
understand. Like, is this for the super ultra affluent? Is
So,
it?
you know, again, because we have a range of services on the one end, you know, we're looking at data in Oregon that's suggesting that these treatments for one treatment are $4,000, $5,000 each. And then we're also making some estimates on what our larger group format might look like. And
Understood.
so you're coming in and you're doing a yoga session, let's say once a week, you pay $100 for the microdose treatment. So if you do that, you know, we have sort of, you do that once a week for a month, and then we sort of, at these facilitators, they can actually service, say, maybe 20 guests
Yeah, get it.
per,
Yep.
per hour.
Yep.
And then we do that, say, maybe very conservative, 3 times.
So I walk in a room, private room, assuming that all the dressings of the setting is just perfectly ideal.
Spa-like, it's very luxurious.
I understand all that.
Yeah.
With 19 other strangers.
Right.
Okay, like a
And you're
yoga
doing
class.
And you're doing
Yeah,
your yoga
yeah,
class.
yeah.
It's an elevated yoga class, right? And so
Mhm.
we're able to service and do that class maybe 3 times a day, and that's conservative. You do that 4 times a week, that brings us to about $1 million
Got it.
per,
So-
per facilitator.
So bottom line,
So
if
it's the range.
if I were a theoretical customer,
Yeah.
what might be my annual out of pocket if I were fully optimized under kind of the highest level membership? Or-
So based, and we're literally using Oregon pricing right now. If you look at the one-on-one ratio, it's between $4,000 to $6,000 per session. And those right now, they have some clinics have a 5,000 person wait list.
And
for
what kind of imagine EBITDA would it throw off at a steady state year, 2.5? Your EBITDA profits once you're up and going in steady state. Well, you know, if you're 13.5 on the top, what are you bringing down?
I mean, we're a little shy to say, because the margins are quite strong here, and, you know, we're using data points in
Yeah.
other states, so, but. I
But
mean,
conservatively,
I mean, it's over 60%, I would say.
okay? Okay. And is this intended to be sort of franchisable or is this?
Yes,
something-
absolutely.
Okay.
The idea is that we want to get the first one in, and the law says that you can have 15 within the license. So we're just using LA because actually West Hollywood is actually, the city of West Hollywood is actually a
Yeah.
sponsor of the bill.
Yeah.
It's West Hollywood's or Venice Beach is our first one. And then the idea is we want to expand down to San
Do you have
Diego.
a specific location in mind?
In West Hollywood?
Yes. Like,
Not yet, but
Okay.
where, if you know one, I mean.
I'm just curious.
I
Okay.
mean,
thank-
maybe like a Pacific Palisades, maybe a Beverly Hills. something like
Mhm.
that.
Thank you.
Great question, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. And we are going to move to our next company,